So we're going to start today actually standing and do a little bit of standing footwork. So Pilates really believed like the foundation is important, like just like in building. So of course buildings have it easy, they don't have to move. So you could just like stack a brick on top of the other or have like girders on the inside and build around it. Our feet have to really be responsive and strong to get you to move throughout your day in a way that is functionally efficient, but also, that would include not being in pain. And unfortunately, a lot of the times we're walking around in shoes that like lock our feet into a certain position. And then also we're walking usually like on flat surfaces, flat hard surfaces, where feet are designed to be super flexible and adapt to terrain. And to really like have strong feet and a strong foundation for our movement and for our life, right? It's helpful to go through some exercises that can help you strengthen and organize the foot so it's in its best possible alignment. A quarter of the bones in our body are in the feet, which is pretty astounding. And so it really can make a difference. The time you spend working on your feet is extremely valuable for the whole alignment through the rest of the structure. So we're going to start here using the ball between your, I say between your ankles, but it's really above the ankles. So there's a little indentation here, right above the ankle bone, below the calves, and that's where you want to engage that in. Now, balance is sometimes an issue for you. You may want to have your roller like vertical standing near you, or be near a wall, or like a piece of furniture if you're at house. So we're just going to start pressing the legs together and checking that if you bend your knees, check that the center of the knee goes out over the center of the foot, over the third toe, the third metatarsal. And as you go down, can you feel like the whole foot spreading? And then as you straighten your legs, you might get a little sensation of the foot, the arch of the foot lifting away from the ground. And it's designed like that so that when like you jump and land or when you walk on a hard surface, the foot absorbs the force. And so you would jump and land and the foot would spread to like be like a trampoline. And then you can push off of it. And when you lift, the arch lifts up and twists to hold you strong into that lifted foot position. So that's sort of like the general biomechanics of our feet. I know mine do that, but it's cold outside too. You'll probably hear that in a moment. So anyway, so now we're just going to think about going down, letting the knees come out over the toes and keeping the heels grounded. You might feel a little stretch in the calf. Now, when you do this, we're going to have to also think about where the pelvis is. So come up again. If you do a pelvic tuck, which a lot of people will do, they'll bend the knees and they'll curl the tail forward like this. That's going to put more pressure into your knee joint and feel really uncomfortable. You won't go as far as if when you go down, you think of not really sticking the butt way out, but thinking of the tailbone lifting so the pelvic floor opens on the way down. And then as you push to the ground and come up, the pelvic floor narrows as you rise. And try that again. So try to tuck where the tail is curled under you. Right, so your back is flat, like this part of the waist is flat in the back. Go down, and you'll feel like a little pressure in the knee. You guys feel that? And then as you come up, just shake that out of your mind. And now think, as you're going down, the knees are going forward, the tail is going up and back like a happy dog. And so you'll feel like an opening here, front to back, pelvic floor. Maybe not. Try to imagine it if you can't feel it. And then push to come up. So that's one of the things to help like the whole chain of your leg and your low back. So anyway, first we're doing that. We're trying to stay like on our vertical alignment, halo over throat over pelvic floor as we go down. Squeeze the ball gently and feel that you're really working through the inside line of your leg, inside line of your foot. Push the floor down to come up. Yep. And we'll do that one more time. My calves are really tight. I think I'm sleeping in a ball because it's so cold. Just like hug in, right? And go down here. Calves also get tight just from sitting. The top calf muscle, the more superficial one, crosses behind the knee. And so when you're at your seat, whether you're in good posture or not, just the act of sitting is going to tighten up the calves. All right, so that's the beginning. Now, the next thing, we're coming forward into releve. So it just means that the heels are lifted when we balance all of the balls of your feet. So your weight shifts a little bit forward, and you're going to squeeze the ball here to feel the inner thigh work. You might want to bring the arms out to the side and really stand into the big toe ball of your foot. And then work yourself down. The heels come down gradually. The arms can descend. Shift to the side. So it's a very slight tip forward. Don't like really lean forward a lot, but like five degrees maybe. So coming up. The head lifts up into the ceiling 2. And then slowly down. Arms descend. Is that feeling okay with this inner thigh work? Yeah. Should make a difference if you're not used to doing it with the ball to help you organize the leg and the foot. So we'll do that one more time. Just coming forward and up. And exhale, try to go down reluctantly. Gradually you put weight into the heel at the very end. Now we're going to add a little bit to it. So we first go down, right, keeping the heel grounded. Then maybe arms out to the side, find a focal point with your eyes, and punch the knees forward without moving the head or the chest or the hips higher. Then just lower the heels down, straighten the arms. So we're going to think the tail goes up the wall behind you as you bend your knee, the center of the knee over the center of the foot. And then we're going to pull the knees forward, heels off the ground, so squeeze the ball, bring the heels down, straighten the knees, arms descend. Feel the work? Yep. We'll do it again. So in, arms out, knees forward, tail back, not under, lower your heels, straighten, come up. We're going to add now the releve, where we're going up to the high heels and hold it. So we start here, we go down, arms out. Imagine holding the roller between your hands and kind of gathering in. You'll feel that gathering in your ribcage muscles to organize your core. And then punch these forward. Whoop, now go up, whoop, lost it. And it happens, right? And then go down. Sometimes thinking, talking, and moving do not actually coincide well. Let's try it again. So down here, heels lift, push through your legs, come up, releve, lower the heels, arms descend. So bend, push the heels forward and lift them, come up. Inner thighs need to work to hold you there. And then bring it down, arms descend. Okay? Yeah. And the crackling noise, that's okay. It's just like some tendons that are a little tight right now. All right, so that little salute is really helpful to build strength into the foot, into the ankle, into better alignment for your knees. So we're just going to leave that for right now. All right, so let's go here. Let's open up your upper back a little bit. Nice. And then we can come back so that the roll is a little above the base of the rib cage, sort of at the base of the shoulder blade tips, the scapular tip, and support your head with your hand. We're going to curve the tail up. There's that pelvic tuck again that I didn't want you to do, standing with that knees. But here we're working to really stretch out the low back and come forward in what we call an upper abs in Pilates, where you're bending the chest here, right below the chest, in like this, the rib cage of T10, T12. So at this point, you're looking down. You can pull the elbows in towards your navel and really try to stretch your low back. Now, bring your gaze forward across the floor, up the wall towards the ceiling. Lay back, let the head fall back, elbows wide, and dropping them low. And your tail sinks into the ground as your head goes back towards the floor as well. Now to come out of it, use your hands to lift the head, look down your nose into your chest wall, and then pull the elbows down and in as you curve the tail up towards your gaze. Here we're in a flex spine, like you're in a hammock. And then we're going to slowly rock the spine as you bring your gaze up and back. The tail sinks. And you can look behind you. Be sure you use the hands to support the weight of the head so the neck can have a lovely stretch without feeling like at all uneasy or nervous about this. And then chin to chest. Pull yourself into that upper abs curl. So now we're really working that whole line here from the tailbone to the pubic bone to the jaw. And we're going to stretch that line in the front of the body going up and back. Tail drops away. Now your ribs here, like right, the closest ribs towards the chest are pulling apart. You're opening into like a broader aperture here when you're in extension. Then notice as you come up with the head, pull the elbows in, have the ribs here knit together so that the ribs in the back, they're open. It's very similar to like having a slinky and then like squeezing it on one side so the other side pops open. So here we go again, arching back. And let the head be heavy into your hand to help give you more strength. Stretch in the front line of your body, jaw to throat, down the rectus abdominal muscles, your six-pack muscles, to the tail. So the pelvic floor is part of this stretch. And then coming up and forward, curve the waist into the ground. All right, and then let's roll up. So come to sitting. And we'll just do a moment or two of opening the hips before we get into the meat of the Pilates. So we'll lay down. And then pressing your feet, lift up. And take the roller across under your sacrum, that big triangular bone, below your waist, so above the muscle of the glute. And the elbow can go out to the side as your hands hold the outer edges of your roller. You want to pull it in gently so it doesn't flip towards your feet. And now here, inhale, pull the right knee in. Exhale, bring the left one to meet it. And then inhale, both legs go up to the ceiling. Just exhale here and roll the toes down towards your knees and lift the heels. So this will give you a calf stretch. And for most people, when they do this, the legs can be pretty vertical, right over the hip sockets. If that's not true, if your hamstrings are really tight, bend your knees a little bit until that is so, right? Because if the legs are further out and down, you might get into too much of your low back strain. So you want the legs as vertical as possible here. So now soft point with the foot and actually rotate the leg. We're going to pull the right leg out to the side and down, leaving the left leg vertical. Really use your arms to be sure that both sides of the pelvic girdle, both hips are grounded on your roller. Exhale and pull the leg up from the upper inner thigh. Try to let the foot be carried by the movement of the leg closer to your center. And here we're taking the right leg vertical and the left leg slides out to the side and down. It's coming down the side of a rainbow. Press the right hip a little heavier into the roller. And then exhale and drag the other leg up. You take your time to feel the movement, the work in your muscles as you work against gravity. And we go to the right side again. So we're still working against gravity to have a controlled descent of the right leg out and down towards the ground. Press into the right arm, push into the right hand, and see if you can keep that left side pressing into your roller on that side. And exhale, pull the leg up, take your time, work deliberately and smoothly. And the right leg is up as the left leg goes out and down sideways. We'll exhale and pull that up. So you can see you can work your arms. And if you really press down into the heel of your hands, you may feel a little bit of knitting together right at the armpit, like at the front of it to go into your pec. Do that one more time, right leg out and down. As you press into the arms, feel it's not just working the arm muscles, it's also engaging your upper abs. And then pull the leg up on the exhale. And then as we take the left leg out, you go down the curve towards the floor, right hip heavy. Good, so we're preventing the body from tipping to the side with the weighted movement of your leg, and then drag it on up. At the top, we're just going to bring parallel legs and feet. And then let's bring the right leg back and down towards your right shoulder. The left leg reaches out and away. So we're doing a scissor split here. Straight or straightish legs. And really allow yourself to reach the left foot forward and down to get an opening across your hip. Exhale, push into your arms and switch your legs slowly. One goes down, one goes up. They pass in mid-stride. We're stretching the hip open and stretching the hamstring on your left leg at this point. Toes are soft, but don't grip them. Don't curl them in towards the sole of your foot. Think about space between your toes as you're moving here on your inhale. You can think of just like a warm breeze going between your toes, so the toes and the feet can relax. And switch once more. Ideally, we'd like to feel a bit of a stretch across the quad and the hip on the right side and the hamstring on the left. And let's bring both legs up to the ceiling. And now frog in. So heels together, toes apart, a narrow V, like a narrow pizza slice here. And bend your knees, bringing your heel connection down in towards your tailbone. We're going to press the heels together to feel the inner thighs and then push that heel connection up and out on a diagonal, pretty high one. Like if you take the legs out, you want to feel your abdominal wall engaged, but you don't want to feel your back overarching. Exhale and drag the heels back in towards your tail. You'll get flexion at the knee and at the hip. And then push the legs out and away. You can see if you go too low, you're going to feel like, oh, my back does not like that. So you would lift the heels higher and get the right amount of engagement in your abs to protect your spine. And exhale, come back in nice and slow and smooth. Pull the heels in towards the tail. And just one more like this, push out. So you choose the angle that gives you some work in your core without overwhelming it. And then you exhale to bring it back in. All right, now parallel legs, soft point with your feet, edges of the feet together, and it's like your feet are curved around a baseball, one under each, right and left. And go out again, just softly relaxed off the end of your body, stretch the legs out long, squeeze the feet and the inner thighs together, and exhale, pull back in. The knees come in over your rib cage towards your chest. And we push out again. So you can try going a little lower. If it doesn't work for you, bring the legs up a little higher. We're working to strengthen the psoas muscle that hugs along the lower part of your spine. And let's reach out again. You should be at a point where you feel the abdominal wall really knitting together to hold the pelvis steady here on the roller. Bring the knees back in, and we'll just do one more. Slide out. You can go as slowly as possible and really be aware of what angle is working you at a level that you can manage it without overwhelming your body. Now, we're going to take the legs down, exhale, lower your feet to the ground, push the feet into the floor, and lift your hips up using your glutes, and then find the lower out from underneath. And let's just stretch the legs forward and the arms back. Take a big stretch here, yawn your body open. And then we'll lift the arms, weight in the shoulder blades, lift your head, neck, and shoulders, roll the shoulders slightly in, and exhale, coming up. Suck the waist back as you dive over, forehead towards your knees. Your body a C curve here like a horseshoe on its side. And then hands to the ground, stack your spine all the way upright. Did that roll up feel good? Because we remember if the roll up is hard for anyone, either watching this or here, you can always do this. Let's actually all do a really slow one using the TheraBand. So remember, Pilates really worked for people that have like great spinal articulation. Just find a long line of vertebrae stacked one on top of each other. And we want to be able to roll those bones down one at a time, like cogs going down onto the mat. So here we go. So we're going to sit perched up on your sits bones. If you're tight in your hamstrings, the knees will be bent a little bit. So you can have a little indentation behind your waist, right? If you eventually, when you get a little longer in the back line, you can get the back of the legs all the way straight and down to the back. But we'll start pushing out into the balls of your feet. Lift your chest a little bit. So you're not just lifting up through your head, you're also lifting up through your sternum and the collarbone spread. The shoulders fall behind you. This is great posture in seated position, and it's not that easy to do, right, to maintain it. Now, we're going to look down your nose, bring your chin slightly in towards the base of your throat. Now curl the tail up. So you're sitting from behind, going behind, sitting on your sits bones onto the glutes. Push the legs forward. We're going to keep rotating the tailbone up the wall in front of you. If your tail was long enough, excuse me. If your tail was long enough, it would be like a paintbrush going up the wall in front of you. Slowly to bring your leg all the way down 1 inch, one vertebra at a time. And the shoulders roll in a little bit so that your rib cage will bend And then we go down. As soon as you get to the base of the ribs, you can flatten the tail into the ground. Come all the way down, lay the head back. And then come out of it. Notice right now on the ground, the collarbones are wide. That has to change for you to lift with a curved spine. So we're going to float the head up. You're bending the neck. You look down your nose towards your abs, look towards your belly, with the arms moving forward a little bit to round the back. The blades move apart and the ribs sink between them. You're coming up, 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 and over and down. Suck the waist back, curve the spine here, feel the stretch in the back of your legs and in your low back. And then articulate all the way up. You all are doing this so beautifully. Really good job. All right. And it's getting a little more familiar, right? You've been here for at least a couple of times. I know, good. All right, hopefully you're feeling a change like in the way you move and the way you support yourself. So let's start to go down again. So one more. Curve the tail forward. You sink behind your sits bones onto the glutes, roll across your glutes to the sacrum. Come down there. You should have enough padding underneath you that's comfortable for your low back, comfortable for your spine. Suspend. Come down, 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 slowly, slowly, until the shoulders relax. The ribs are going to broaden in the front. As you come down here, feel the length from your head to your tail to your toes. And to lift again. So nod your head first, chin towards chest. You look down your nose, then you pick up the head. Move through the neck. 7 vertebrae. You can pick them up individually. Pull the shoulders forward. Pull yourself up super slow. Every inch of the abdominals is working to lift you. You can come up to sit up tall if you want, or you can keep the round wings going over. But then we're going over and down to feel that length in the back line of your body. And stack your spine coming up. So when you use the TheraBand, you have a little more control. Without it, you have to get the control really from inside of you. Right? So that's what all of this builds up to. So now we're going to roll back for hundreds. So in hundreds, we're going to roll back just to the tip of the shoulder blades. So the body's going to be in the upper up curl when you're laying onto your rib cage and your hips onto the ground. And then we'll pump the arms maybe 100 times, maybe more. So we're going to bring the arms forward. Imagine holding the strap or holding a weight in your hand is also helpful for this. You curl the tail and start to go down again slowly. Control it down. So 1 inch of the spine goes down, then the next, then the next, and the next. You're at the base of the ribs and you stay in that upper up curl position. Again, roll the shoulders slightly in. Let's pull one knee in, then the other, and squeeze the legs together. We start pumping the arms, inhaling for 5 beats. Exhale for 5 more. That's 10. 10 breaths will make 100. Or counting is a whole different thing when you're chatting and then holding your position. Now, if you look up, which I don't recommend, you're going to feel it in your neck. So keep trying to pull yourself forward to feel this work in your upper abdominals. If this seems a little too easy for you, you can extend the legs up and even bring them forward a little bit, or you can start with the knees bent and just push the knees away to get more load into the low abdominals here while you're pumping. You want to feel that work in your core without falling flat and looking up towards the ceiling. So pick the angle that's giving you a bit of a challenge, but not making your body feel like it's in the danger zone, right? No red lights flashing here. And you can stay up and you come into this curve and try to maintain it as the arms go forward and up and down along the wall in front of you. We're just going to go for one more breath. Breathe in. Exhale, breathe out, and think of the navel sinking in towards your spine. And then we can fold the knees in and lower it back down. So rock your head here from side to side. And we'll reach here for the TheraBand to do a single leg circles next. This will help open up our hips and also give us more stretch in the back of the leg. So as we pull the right knee into the chest, give it a little hug, a little tug. And then we can lift the head, look down in midline, and then take the band around the ball of the foot and the arch of the foot. And you do the right side. And then as you lay your head back, you can lift the leg up in the air, get a stretch into the back of the leg, and lay yourself down, punch your elbows closer to your hips, so your neck is long and the shoulders are relaxed. Now with this, you can pull the leg back towards your chest a bit to get more stretch in the hamstring. You could also really flex the ankle to get more stretch into the calf. So Just feel that stretch wherever it's right for you. Maybe you have the leg vertical, you can have the knee a little bit bent, and you can bring it further back. We're working to get the stretch in the middle of the muscle, not behind the knee, not at the sits bone, but into the belly of the muscle where it has the capacity to stretch. And then release the leg a little bit forward and up. Elbows are grounded. And we're going to keep the pelvis stable here on the mat. As you inhale, bring the right leg across to the left and then bring it down low. It rotates externally, going out to the right while the left side is heavy. Pull the leg up. And just double check. Were you able to keep the hips grounded and steady on the mat surface while you move the leg in a circle? Right, so that means that you're going to get heavier on the right side as the right leg moves to the left, heavier down to the left side as the leg circles around and up on the right. So a deep but short inhale and a longer exhale will allow you to feel more deepening of the deepest abdominal muscle, the transverse abdominis here. And we'll take the leg across. And then exhale all the way low. Keep exhaling, 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 exhaling to the top to feel that inner corset of the transversus. Now pause at the top and we'll reverse. So the leg goes slowly out to the right. The left side presses into the ground. We reach that leg low around the circle, across the body, and then up to the ceiling. Good. All of that is one breath. So if you consider that your foot is drawing a circle in the air like the face of a clock, you can imagine assigning numbers throughout that space. We're going to inhale for the first 3 numbers. So here we're going 12 to 9. And then from 9 all the way back around the curve and up to 12 again. So a short deep inhale and then a long slow exhale will really train your abdominal muscles and also train your lung capacity. Let's do that once more. Heavy to the left side, press into the arms to help you stabilize the upper body, come all the way around and up to the ceiling. Now we'll take both ends of the band in your right hand and rotate the leg externally. Hold your left hand on your left hip and press to keep that heavy. And let's take the right leg out to the side in a little external rotation. So the knee and the toes point diagonally back to the wall behind you. And we rock the leg just gently, very small movement, very slow, to stretch out the upper inner thigh muscles. Yep. And equally important to the stretch you feel here is the ability to press the left side into the ground and not tilt the pelvis. That will also increase the stretch, as well as give you more strength in your core. So we'll exhale to lift the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands at the top. And then we bring the leg across the body. Stop when you can still keep the hip down to feel that stretch in the lateral hip and the upper part, or the lower part of the glute, really. And then we can continue lifting the hip and twisting the waist. You can extend your right arm out with the palm up, back of the hand to the ground. Pull the leg a little closer towards your left shoulder. Rotate the leg internally, and you'll get a big stretch into like your low back area around the sacrum of the SI joints. And try to have that right shoulder blade heavy without floating it off the ground. Now we're going to unwind. Imagine being zipped down from your left shoulder to your waist to the right glute to bring the leg up in the air. So we're working from our center to lift the leg there. And then we can pull the knee into your chest and reach your hands up high, closer to the ankle, closer to the foot. We'll straighten the leg again, and then the elbows come up to the upper curl. Practice it here. You're trying to lift so that the tip of your blades are either just on the mat or coming off of it, if that works for you. Maybe pull the leg a little closer to you and come up a little higher with the head. The goal here is to feel that work in the upper abdominals, yes? Okay, you're good. So lay yourself down gently. Of course, never slam your head into the mat. And then pull the knee into your body and brace it in. And the band comes off to the side. Just pull that right knee into your right chest. And then should slide slightly to the right armpit. The left shoulder is heavy, the left hip is heavy again. And then bring the knee back to center. One more embrace. After the stretch, we like to have the joints compress a little bit. They like that variety. And then we're going to slide that leg forward and down and take a moment to notice the difference in length in your legs, the orientation, right? Because I feel like my right one is rotating a little externally. The height of the right hip compared to the left. And even this sort of the same thing. Like, do you feel lower on the right side than you do on the left? It's a little surprising that just working can take that much tension out of our whole structure. So we're going now to the left because with fair is fair. Let's pull the left knee in, take it in. And you can lift your head, lift your chest a little bit, and then place the band on your right leg. All right, so we're taking that leg up. We're trying to have the foot over the hip socket. Getting yourself a stretch by maybe lifting through the heel and dropping to the sits bone. So the sits bone on the left side, that's that left hamstring attachment point. And if it's too much, soften the knee a little bit and see if you can feel that stretch mainly in the center, the belly of the muscle here. That's where the fibers can slide apart in a stretch position. All right, and then we're going to reach up to the ball of the foot, almost like a foot in a high-heeled shoe position, the toes being pulled slightly back. Anchor your elbows in by your waist and slide them forward towards the end of your mat. The neck should be long here, shoulders relaxed. And we inhale to bring the leg across the body. Feel that stretch in the lateral thigh and hip and bring it down low. Now here, the right side stays heavy as the left leg moves in an arc around to the left and then up to the top, completing the breath there. So short, deep inhale, like breathe in like you just walked into a bakery, your favorite coffee shop, a garden. You hit the beach and you smell the ocean air. Whatever you love, breathe that in and then exhale all the way around, letting that air dissipate a little bit at a time into the space above you. So inhale, reach out with the foot and pull back with the hip. In Pilates, we refer to that as opposition when you're reaching through, particularly a limb or the spine, at two opposite ends in the opposite direction, right? So as the foot stretches out, I'm pulling back through the pelvic girdle to create a little more space in the hip joint and a little more length in the muscles. Short inhale and a long exhale. The end of the exhale, at this pace, you should really feel the abdominal wall knit together at the end. If you don't, shorten your inhale, lengthen the exhale, until you feel like you are really wringing the air out of your lungs with every breath, with every movement, every circle of your leg. Let's go for one more here. Crossing over, reaching long. Rotate the leg at the hip as you circle the leg and the foot through space. And at the top, we'll reverse. So out to the side, the right side is heavy, your left side stretches, reach into the band, let it support you, come all the way around and up to the top. And again here, push it out into space, holding the pelvis grounded, pull across and bring it up. Just do one more here. Short, deep inhale, the longest possible exhale, the belly knitting in, deepen, navel falls in towards the spine. And at the top, we stretch. And then the left hand can hold both ends of the band. And you can take the left elbow down and rotate the leg externally. As you pull the left leg out to the side, try to rotate your hips to the right to keep the right pelvis rounded, the right half of the pelvis on the mat. That'll give you more stretch into the inner thigh, which we're now going to rock the leg here a little bit to increase the area of stretch. It's not just like one fiber, it's a group of muscle fibers that we're stretching in the upper inner thigh. On the exhale, pick up the leg. Think about working from the upper inner thigh and not from the foot, so the foot will still move because of that action close to the core. And now let's switch hands. The right hand holds the strap, the left arm extends out, and we let the leg sweep across. First, trying to keep the hip down. Notice where the stretch is there, and then as you gradually tip the hip up and rotate your waistline, feel the stretch change. And you can adjust it so that you get the stretch where you need it the most, right? So maybe bend the knee slightly or straighten it. See what kind of stretches you get there, and if it feels safe for you to stretch there. And we can rotate the leg internally to change the position of the stretch yet again. So everyone's movements will be a little different, right? We're inhabiting different bodies with different capabilities at this moment in time. So don't worry about where you are compared to your neighbor. Just go with what feels right for your body. You want to stay safe and be challenged throughout this session. And whenever you do your Pilates. So let's pull the knee into your chest again. And the band comes off your foot. Pull it in tight, and you can reach out to the sits bone on the left side. And then let's think of pulling and actually pull the left knee in towards the left armpit. We're holding the right hip bone down. Pull the knee back in. Of course, if it's too much on the knee joint, you can hold underneath the knee onto the upper, well, actually, the part of the hamstring right above the knee. And then let's slide that left leg forward. Shake the legs out. Picture like this big fluffy dog coming out of a pond and shaking the water everywhere. And then let your legs just be quiet, still, and relaxed. And see if you feel that freedom, that openness in the hips, the length in your legs, and sort of like a buzz through your body from the energy that you just rebooted. All right. So now we can pull the right knee in, hug it in, lift the left leg up to the ceiling, elbows are wide, and we're going to lift the head and roll forward and up. So come up to sitting, forward rolling with the ball. So we can use the ball and take it between the inner thighs and have the edges of your feet together. We're going to sit near the front third of your mat and a pelvic tuck. So easiest to have your hands behind your thighs, a little more challenging, hands to the shins. And we're going to sit upright first on your sits bone. Try to have that little natural arch at your waist behind you here. And now look down. Think upper arm curl, so the shoulders move forward, the ribs move back, and you curl the tail up towards your gaze. So we're doing a pelvic tuck and an upper arm curl to create a C-curve shape in your spine. Now, keeping the edges of your feet together, we're going to lift the tail a little bit and float the feet up off the ground. So you're balanced now behind your sits bones, below your sacrum, into the glute. Elbows wide. Now push the shins forward into your hands and push the hands back into your shins. So that firm up your arms and also your abs. Yeah. And as we look down, we're going to lift the tail and roll just to the shoulder blades and then come right back up to this position. So inhale, the tail shifts, that shifts your weight. You go back to your blades. Exhale, come forward and up. Yep. So your inhale goes just to the very moment that the tip of your blades touch the ground. You exhale and you're still moving back, but you're thinking of coming forward. So you're going to end up, you're already in the exhale as you rise. So inhale. Start your exhale, and then your head moves forward towards your knees. You come back up. Now, we're trying to have equal work on the right and left side. So imagine a straight line down the middle of your mat. And let's see if you can lay your spine down on it on the way down. And stay on that straight on the way up. So we're not letting the sled steer like off into the woods. Yep. Once more. Curl the tail up, roll back. And exhale forward. Should get a little easier after a few times. Yeah. Keep your gaze into your abdominals. Pull the tail towards your gaze. That shifts your weight, you roll. Exhale forward and up. And one last one. I'm gonna watch. Let's see. Elbows wide. Look into yourself. Edges of your feet together. Press the feet in. Roll back. Come forward and up. Very good. Yep. All right. So we're going to use the ball today for the ab series. So the first one is the single leg stretch. So in this one, just demo real quick, right? To remember, or if it's the first time you're doing this, you get an idea of getting the picture of it. So we pull one leg in, the other leg floats out. The legs are aligned right from the hip joint. And as you inhale, you switch and switch again. Right? We're going to maintain the upper arm curl the whole time. Now, we're going to use the ball in a different way today to get a little bit more work in the upper abs. So what that will look like is you're going to squeeze the ball here, right? So that it's a straight line from elbow to elbow, and you're squishing the ball, which they're pretty not inflated anymore, right? Deflated. And as we roll back, we're going to hold it right by the sternum and look under the ball at your abs. You're in your upper arm curl, and then you're going to pull both of these into your chest. Now, you hold that upper arm curl as the right leg goes forward. And then the legs move in opposite directions at the same time. So you shoot one leg forward as you pull the other one in. You try to really use this upper abs so that you're not falling back, laying your head back and looking up at the sky, but you're trying to pull forward and look under the ball at your abdominal wall. We'll just do one more. And we end with the left leg in, pull the right leg to meet it, and roll forward and up. Yeah. So that's a little harder on the neck, right? Because you don't have that moment where you can reconnect into your own leg for support. Everyone doing okay? Now I should remind you, if any of these are really hard and you're feeling it too much in your neck and in the front of your throat, number one, check your gaze position, because if you're looking up, it's going to get into your throat, not into your abs. But you can always use the ball here behind you and sort of like let that assist you in an upper curl while you do any of these ab series, right? So that would be a lot easier, but it would help you start to get your body familiar with that curve, that position. Second one, double leg stretch. So this one, the traditional exercise, you would roll back, the legs pull in, they're together, you press them in, you're in your upper ab curl, and then we inhale to stretch the arms and legs away from each other, circle wide, and embrace the legs in. This group has done it, and done it well. I wouldn't be advancing you, right? So the difference now with the ball is, again, we're going to hold the ball and press it through the heel of your hand. And just sit upright and take the ball in front of you, squeeze it, and see how you feel that connection to the inner arm. And also, as you squeeze it, can you feel like these armpit muscles coming in? This is your serratus, and it wraps into your external obliques. So by squeezing the ball and keeping sort of the collarbones like a little wide to begin, you can feel that squeeze really integrate into your upper abs. So always in Pilates, how do we connect the edges of our body to the center? And it's like becoming aware of what we're doing and what we're connecting into. Like using these props is really helpful to get these sensations in our core. So in this exercise, we're going to squeeze and roll back, upper curl, pull the knee in, and just like rest the ball on your shin sometimes. You're in the upper curl, you maintain it. We're going to lift the arms and legs up to the ceiling. So we still open this like you're in a hammock, and then exhale, just fold the knees in and lay the ball down on your shins. Now, if you're having trouble with your neck in the first version, this is probably not for you yet. So you can always go back to the version where you don't have the ball and you're actually doing so I was getting mixed up in them, just opening and closing. So you open and then you would circle the arms around and embrace. But when you have the ball, it's just press the ball forward towards your ankles, extend the arms and legs, open the shape, and close it again. We'll do that one more time. You can always stop, by the way. Just because I'm asking you to move doesn't mean that that's the right thing for you at the moment. So listen to your body, do what your body needs. Now watch, if you go too low, like if you're not ready for it, and you think, oh, I should go bigger. Like as soon as you do this, it's wrong. Because now you're arching the back, you're not getting the work in the front of your body. So you really want to watch the range that it benefits you. It's not like a picture for Instagram, right? We really want to feel that work and feel that we can control it, we can contain it, and then we can build on it, right? So, yeah, so don't just look at me or someone next to you and say, I should be at that level, because that may not be true. You could do more or you could do less, and you could do more the next rep. You know, it's variable throughout the whole process. Okay, so scissors is next. So in scissors, traditional classical Pilates, the one leg is up, the other leg is forward, and you're using the arms to come up deeper into that upper curl as you look down at your abs. We would switch the legs as you inhale, and then switch the legs as you exhale. So that in itself is great. You also would have the option of doing that again with the ball here under the low back. What we're going to do with the ball now, though, is we'll back to the upper curl, pull the legs in, one leg up, one leg down, and we're going to tap one leg to the ball twice, and then the other leg to the ball twice. Now, it's so hard, like you saw, I looked up. I really wanted to see the ball, but I don't need to. I know where it is because of proprioception. Like I know where my body is in space, and I can move the ball slightly side to side to allow my shin to kick the ball. It'll have a little bounce, but again, I'm not pushing the ball to the leg. I'm trying to pull the leg to the ball. Your knee might bend a little bit, Try to straighten it when you can. We're going to end with it up to the left. Bring the right leg up, pull the knees in, and let's roll up again. How are we doing? Right? You feel the progression? So there's 5 of these. They get a little bit more difficult, a little more load away from center as we go. The next one, double leg lower lift. So again, traditional for this one, classical Pilates, you would be pulling the knees in, support your head with your hands to pull the head up and reinforce the upper abs curl. The legs go up and we push the legs away. Exhale, pull the belly deep and we'll lift the legs. So this is inherently dangerous for our spines, right? Because the psoas muscle, your deep hip flexor muscle, connects your femur, your thigh bone, directly into all of your lumbar vertebra and intervertebral disc. So if you're not supporting enough with the strength in your core and the strength of that psoas muscle, when the legs go forward, your back will arch and you'll like kind of buck a little bit like that. That can be dangerous for your spine. But if you do it correctly, it strengthens the muscle that supports the spine and makes your spine safer and stronger. So it's all about like paying attention to what your body is telling you and gradually increasing the work. So don't think the movement is better because it's bigger. It could really hurt you in this particular case. So always say that because I know that a lot of people either have coaches or sometimes I see it in yoga classes where they start people who really have no training at all and they're lifting their legs from the ground straight up in the air and down again. That is, in my opinion, like criminal because you need so much support from your core and the practice to be able to do it safely. And no one wants to be sidelined from their sport or their normal activities that they love. So anyway, so here, pay attention. This is why we don't do it to music. We try to focus on our breath and the movement. So we're going to take the ball between the arches of the feet. It's like it's embedded in a wall, right, or a windshield. And go back to your upright curl. Now we still are going to get to use the hands. So you pull the head up and look down at your abs. Remember, don't look up because you'll fall out of the upright curl. And once the back starts to arch, you've really lost control of this. So extend the legs up, bend the knees if you need to have the ball over the pelvic floor. And then we're going to bring the feet forward just an inch or maybe less, and then exhale, bring it back up. Yeah, that's good. So gazes down on the navel, reach it out long through the sole of the foot, squeeze the ball to help firm up the inner thigh line of your legs. Pull it on up, and we'll do one more. Now you could try going just a little bit lower, but see if you feel it. If you get to the point when you go down and your belly starts quivering and your back starts going like, I don't know, I don't like how that feels. You know you need to pull it back up, right? So this movement is probably going to be pretty small initially. You have to earn the opportunity to go all the way down and up again, and that can take a lot of practice. Okay, and then fold the knees in to come up. The good thing about this series is if you do it, you don't have to practice every single exercise all the time for that exercise to improve because all of it reflects back into the whole system, right? All right, last one, elbow to knee is this, right? So it's called bicycle in gym. You come up and twist. We'll do the opposite hip down. Today we're using the ball. Again, by squeezing in, you want to feel those upper abdominals. And we'll start on this side just so you can see. So as you go down, you can pull the side. Well, like here, I have the ball to the left because my left knee is in and the right leg is extended out. So it lets me like reach forward so I have more of a flexion in my spine as well as rotation. Switch the legs and go to the other side. So you're rolling off of the opposite shoulder blade. So we're going to go from one side to the other. The ball actually helps you get more forward reach. Yep. Now you want to try to keep both hips down, even though you're going from one shoulder blade to the other, across the tip of the base of the blades. And your gaze should be fixed low along your side. I wouldn't look up at the ball as it goes over your knee, while the legs are changing. Try to go right down to the side of your hip. And we'll end now. Rest your head back. Let's lower the legs, take the feet apart a little bit, and let the knees come in towards each other. Pick up your head and take the ball under your neck. Oh, you can rest your hands on your belly. Knees are together, feet are apart, and slowly turn your head side to side. Right, just let the ball support your neck with its rotation. We may have challenged it a bit, and it's nice to get that little massage in here. And then we'll come back to center. Roll to the side and roll up again. All right, so fun stretch. Thought I would actually demo using the block. So this is needed if your hamstrings are really tight or your low back is really tight. Because for some people, when they extend their legs, their body does this, right? And it's not that they can't sit up straight if they were like sitting in a chair, but it's because in this position, the hamstrings, when they're tight, pull the sits bones forward, and so that curves the low back into this pelvic tuck. So if you're at that point, you might be able to bend the knees and sit upright on the sits bone. But another option for the next exercises that we're going to do would be to elevate your hips up on a yoga block, a book, a yoga bolster, anything that would elevate you so that you could straighten the legs and sit on your sits bones. And again, have a little inverse curve right here by your waist, right? So, and that's important because if your body is like this, rounded because of tight hamstring stretch, you're not going to really get to stretch your hamstrings when you do this. You're only stretching the low back. So don't be afraid to use the props when they're needed because they can help you improve your body and the exercise. So mainly the body, the exercise, it's going to look all different ways as you move through this. So you're either sitting up on a block or sitting on your sits bones. The legs are apart a little wider than your hips. If your hamstrings are tight, you're probably going to have your feet pointed. Otherwise, try to pull your chest back and ankle flexion. So let's bring the arms all the way up today and try to pull your head up to the space between your fingertips. We're going to lift the chest and do a little upper back extension. And then look straight ahead, look down and dive the arms forward because you're moving the head and the shoulders in an arc towards the ground. So imagine your forehead coming down between your knees. Maybe touch your toes, your calves, any part of your leg with your hands. And then imagine zipping your back up and imagining wall coming all the way up here. And take that little upper back extension. So the lower part of your abdominal wall is still parallel to the wall in front of you. And you waterfall backwards over a line between the tips of your blades. And then come forward and over again. Bounce, dive, and stretch. Pull the waist back, C curve, pull the toes back, get a little stretch in your calves, and press down to come up again. Upper back extension. And one more time. So flow. Your head starts the movement, you look down, feel that you're moving your neck, then your upper back, you're going down one vertebra at a time. Diving forward, stretching, pull the waist back to get more stretch in the lower back. And then we stack the spine again. So you're zipping your back up a wall. And then we can just lower the arms down. From here, we're going to move into a spine twist. So again, maybe if you could sit elevate it up, or bend the knees, legs together, in order to really get a lot of rotation. Yeah, does anyone want a block? Get some too. Let's give everyone one. Because even if you think that you're, it's like, oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Let me help you. What the fuck? Thank you. Maybe just try, like not sitting on it yet, but sit on it, legs extend out, and then take your arms out, slightly to the side in front of your collarbones, rotate to the right, see how far you can go, rotate to the left, see how far you can go. Now, if your back isn't all rounded, right, because hamstrings are a little tight, maybe from what you did earlier today, like sit in class all day, let's see what the difference is when you come on up. All right, so You want your two sit bones on there, legs together, feet flexed, arms out. Now rotate here. Can you feel like you get more movement down the full length of your spine? It's like, yeah, and then if you bend your knees, if you're really tight in the hamstrings, right, you can go even further, right, because you've taken the chains off of your movement by taking the hamstring tightness out of the equation, right? So even I would bend your knees more there and really try to lift up, like lift your sternum. Now try to move it out and rotate. Yeah. So that's the kind of rotation we want to see, where you're not fighting your own body to get the movement. And this is why also it's important to like work to lengthen the hamstrings or any muscle that's tight, because when it's tight, it's going to prevent you from doing the movement that your body desperately wants to do. All right, I think that's it for us for today. All right, so good. I hope this is like feeling good and those have been coming, like that you're progressing a little bit, understanding it more. Each time we'll do more, and the pace will keep increasing because you'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. You're all great. I appreciate you coming today.